Can we talk about the jump scare of going from being super spontaneous in your 20s to not being able to make a plan without Google calendars and babysitters and all this stuff in your 30s? For reference, I'm 34. I live in the central Florida, Orlando area. I used to live in New York City, and I don't have any kids yet. And I think that a lot of people my age can relate that with COVID, the last end of our 20s were kind of ruined, and our last year or two for being able to go out and have fun before everybody started having kids was just stripped away from us. So when we emerged from the pandemic, it was like people all of a sudden had kids and all these extra responsibilities. For me, I moved away, all these things that happened, and I realized that making plans with anybody is so difficult now. My social life has naturally just dwindled because I left behind all my friends in New York, but I have a feeling that it still would be the same if I lived there. In my 20s, I would go out 5 to 7 nights a week. After work, I would have dinner, drinks, hang out with a girlfriend. I was always doing something. And now in my 30s, if I want to see anyone, it's oh, I have to get a babysitter, or if their kid does come along, which I never mind, it's oh, I can only hang out until 6 because we have to start bedtime routine at 6:30 so they could be in bed by 7:30. And it's just not as easy to make spontaneous plans. But I also think that this is a deeply American thing. I don't live in a major city now. And even when I lived in New York City, I lived in Staten Island. So, you still have to drive to things. It's not like you're walking down the street and you have third spaces or anything like that. And I would even argue in Manhattan, you still don't really have that third space sort of thing like you do in Europe. So to make plans and meet up with people, unless you live down the street from each other and you have a bar on the corner or a restaurant right there, it's not really just popping in. I yearn for British pub culture where imagine living in a village and just being able to pop into the pub, maybe even with your kid on the way home for an hour before you go home and get ready for the night. Not to mention that our country is so obsessed with kids activities and kids only spaces and kids not being allowed to breathe next to adults who don't want children around them. And it's kind of sad and exhausting when you think about having to make plans that take up your whole day or whole night to see your friends, because otherwise you just would never be able to see them. It's not as easy to just pop in and out of somewhere and see someone for a half hour a few times a week. Millennials, let me know if you relate, and I wrote about it a little more in detail in my Substack this week.